Hey, Flo here. Just getting started. A Shanoka or Sinoka. Can't get it. Yeah, so I'm going to be doing a sketch stream today. I'll just be drawing and stuff. I haven't done a stream at home for a while, so it'll take me a minute to make sure everything's working. Okay, why is that not working? That's weird. Oh, there it goes. Let's see, did I miss anything else? Hey, Ace. Okay, I don't think I missed anything else. All right. So I think what I'll start with is I bought some eyes. Do you know what game? You mean like the music game? The music, which game? Hey, Savannah. Oopsie. I don't know why it's doubling. That's probably my issue. Let me see if I can fix that. Wonder if I just close this, if that'll help. That might do it. Okay. So, I have a couple things. This is just an Amazon box, nothing special, but I ordered two things from Amazon. Pencil sharpener and some ink. And I don't necessarily need ink, but I was really fascinated by this particular ink because it's supposedly one of the blackest inks available. And so I just kind of wanted to try it out. Mainly because like one of the inks, actually at least one, this ink is completely dried out that I had, and I don't know if it's any good anyway, but and I do have other inks. Actually, the ink that I use the most often is Dealer Rowney FW Artist acrylic ink, and another brand, which I don't know if I have it sitting here. I don't see it, but yeah, I don't see it. But it's this stuff. It's Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay India ink, which yeah, this is the same stuff, but I have the black that I normally use. I don't know where it is. Yeah, all the music is from games. I used to have the ability to show like the track names on the stream, but I don't currently have that set up, unfortunately. It'll take me a while to get that figured out. Yeah, this would be a very realistic video game, I suppose. Kind of a boring video game too, but all right, so this is what oh, that's really pretty. I like how that looks a lot. Yeah, look at that. That's awesome looking. I think that's glass, as far as I know. I don't think it's plastic. It just looks amazing though. Very simple packaging, or simple, there's not like any label except for that. There's no like thing on the back with more information. It's very simplistic. I like it. But yeah, this is I think it's a Japanese product. Let me check. I think it's made in Japan. I'm not very good. Yeah, it looks like Japanese there. Yep. It's I guess the company's name is Platinum. Which this is the first product I've ever had that I've had from that company, so I'm not familiar at all. But when I did a search online, I basically searched for the blackest or darkest ink. And this is, I think this is the second darkest. There's one that's even darker, but it's like really expensive. So anyway, we'll see how it compares to some of my others, which will be kind of hard to show on stream, like, because I don't think the camera is really going to show that well. But Anyway, I'll test it out a little bit later. Mainly, I just wanted to show it. This also is a Japanese product, obviously, which I didn't know that. I found out about this from a YouTuber who tested every pencil sharpener, or like a lot of them, like many different ones. And this one scored really high on her list. I can't remember the YouTuber's name. But anyway, it's a weird brand. It's like, I think the brand name is Stad, I guess, although it's a bunch of Japanese stuff that I can't read. But the brand name of the model number or whatever, what this thing is called is T-Gall. I think that's what the YouTuber referred to it as, so that's what I searched for. Anyway, the thing that makes this pencil sharpener special is that you can change the angle of the sharpener, which is really interesting. So I'm gonna try that out. I'm not sure how it works exactly. There's no instructions except for Japanese, so I guess I'll just have to try it out. Okay, so actually I have a pencil right here. I kind of want to just see if I can figure this out. So this is closed, so that you can see that it's closed. That makes sense. So this is a number 1. See if I can see any visual difference as I'm changing this. I don't really see a huge difference. It's kind of weird. It's also made out of entirely plastic, so I'm a little bit concerned that it might actually break, but yeah, we'll find out later, I guess. Just want to see what happens when I sharpen it. Oh, cool. It does exactly what I was hoping it would. See how narrow that, or not pointy that is compared to like this one? I actually prefer this angle because then you don't waste as much lead if it breaks, and when you're sharpening it doesn't like take off as much. So that's actually the whole reason I got this. So number 1 looks like it's that angle. Let me see what number 5 does. Yeah, so I guess number 1 is that shortest stubby angle, and then as you increase the numbers from 1 to 5 it gets like more pointy. Depending on what kind of art you're doing, you know, some people like the pointy things, but so that one's a 5, and let's do that again on the 1 just for a comparison. You guys are going crazy in chat. I don't know what you guys are talking about, but looks like you guys are friends over there on Soulbound. So look at the difference. So, I think most people would actually prefer this kind of sharpening, but because I'm using watercolor pencils, I actually prefer this shorter angle, so I'm actually pretty happy with this. And I generally prefer like electric pencil sharpeners, but the problem with those is you can't see what's happening inside, and so if the lead breaks and it swallows up half your pencil, you can't really tell until you pull it out. So I prefer to be able to see what's happening, so I like that this is like kind of a transparent case so you can see if something goes wrong. But also the electric one's just like, if it doesn't have an auto stop, it just like, you know, grinds away half your pencil, and that's just like a waste. So anyway, I'm pretty happy with that. I'm hoping it'll actually last. I don't even use these, to be honest. I bought these because they were like 50 cents at an art store, and I've never actually used them. The reason I'm testing the sharpener on these is because they're not extremely important to me, but I may end up finding a use for these, but they're really not, they're not the kind of pencil I'm familiar with, to be honest. I'm actually not an expert artist at all. Like, I'm kind of I wouldn't say I'm a beginner because I've been drawing for most of my life, but I'm not like super good at it. So don't expect like amazing artistry here. I'm more of a doodler, sketch type artist. Well, let's see. Let me find my sketchbook. I need to get it ready to go. Almost have my sketchbook filled. And after that happens, I'll start a new one. I can show one sketch that I finished today. This is one that I was like working on. I started like a couple days ago and then I finished it today. There's kind of a story with this one, but it's kind of funny. So there's these two guys. Kino is the guy on the left in the red shirt, and Rigbert the Seventh is the guy on the right. Rigbert the Seventh has this very rare muscle disease, I guess, where he can't like hold the weight of his head up very well, and he kind of moves around like a marionette. So his head kind of like swings around wildly, and once he starts moving, he can't really control his movement, and so that's kind of the backstory of these characters. So yeah, Rigbert has this issue with his muscle control, and so he finds himself swinging his head around a lot, and his head is so big that he can't really control it once it starts moving, and he ends up kind of slapping other people in the face with his his cheeks and nose, just the way it goes. So that's the kind of story of that guy. Love the background music, nice. Yeah, I like retro video games, so that's kind of my thing. Is there an electric sharpener thing IRL? Yeah, I actually have one. I mean, you can buy them online. And I like my electric sharpener. It's just a cheap one I got at a thrift store for like $5. But I'm a little bit concerned. I don't think it has an auto stop, so it like just starts grinding away your pencil, and you say that this is the sharpener here. It'll just be like, and then you'll just like lose half of your pencil. So that's part of the reason I wanted to get this thing, is just so I have a little bit more control over how much it takes off, because my pencils are really expensive and I don't want to like waste them. So, and interestingly enough, I've actually never sharpened any of my pencils yet. So let me show you my pencils. So these are my pencils. This is my favorite brand at the moment, and probably will always be. These are watercolor pencils, by the way, or similar to watercolor pencils. They're actually, I don't know, they're kind of a unique type of pencil. They're their own thing. But I've drawn like a bunch of stuff, and I have not, so far I haven't had the need to sharpen these pencils at all. And even though the tips are not very sharp, the way that I use them to color, I actually don't need them to be sharp. So until like the lead, or it's not lead, but whatever you want to call this, the core, until the core gets like to where it's almost underneath the wood, I don't really feel the need to sharpen them, because I can still use them, and that way I'm like not wasting any of the color. But yeah, I've done like, I don't know how many drawings with these exactly, but I've done quite a few, and so far I haven't had to sharpen them even once, which is pretty awesome. And I'm not going to sharpen them today either, unless I actually need to. I think there was like maybe 1 or 2 colors that are getting a little bit short, but I can still use them for quite a long time. I see that let me see if I can make my sound a little bit lower. Let's try that. Hopefully my microphone isn't maxing out. I think it was a little bit there, but I just turned the gain down a little bit, so hopefully it's better. Oh, I forgot to check Rumble, I think. Let me do that real quick. Okay, that's working. Didn't check Odyssey either. Okay, I think everything's working. I don't remember if I did YouTube. I'll do that real quick. Okay, I think we're good. All right. Okay, so I need to get my sketchbook ready to be used. I actually only have one page left, so really close to finishing it. I'll finish it today and then I'll start a new one. Which I have one selected already. I had like 3 candidates, 4 really, because I was thinking about actually making a sketchbook to be my next sketchbook, but I don't want to like lose any time because I don't have it ready, and so it would take me a couple days or more to finish it, and during that time I wouldn't be able to sketch, so I think I'm gonna use one that I already have instead. So that's the plan. Okay, I need a piece of paper here. Kind of relaxing, nice. Yeah. And try to keep it pretty basic and chill around here. Oh, this is like too thick. I thought I had this working the other day. Oh, it's because I'm at the end of the book, so this clamp is not wide enough to go around. So let me see. I might have a bigger one. I don't know if I do. I need to buy a bigger binder clip. This isn't big enough. I don't think I have any bigger ones. If I do, they're buried somewhere. I have no idea where they are. I'm gonna go look one place that they might be. I don't really know. Be right back. I guess I'll put my BRB animation on since it took a while to get this going. I actually wrote I had AI write a web script for me on this, so it just shows some of my drawings. Okay, I'm back. Alright, found one big one. Hopefully this will work. It might be too tight, I don't know. I have to like order some bigger ones or go to an office store or something. Can I write Ace with a new black ink? Possibly. Okay, let's see. Alright, that should do it. Alright, yeah, let's try this out. Have some pen nibs around here somewhere. Just have to find them. Oh, here's that ink I was looking for. Actually, I kind of want to compare this a little bit with the other inks too. So I'm going to do that. Not sure which nib I want to use. I don't think it really matters. Hey, XCOM. What are you gonna draw? I'm not sure. I'm actually just testing out a new ink that I got. I did a search online for like the darkest like black ink that I could find, and this is what I came up with. It's a brand called Platinum, and it's carbon ink. So I'm hoping it's really dark. I didn't necessarily need more ink. I was just, I don't know what possessed me to get it, but I don't know. Sometimes I just have moments of weakness where I just can't resist something. I'm not like a super talented artist though, so I mostly just do quick sketches. Nothing super impressive. I'm a variety streamer. I do a lot of different stuff. But about, I don't know, 3 months ago, I can't remember exactly, I got inspired to get back into drawing. I hadn't really drawn much for like 10 years or more. It's kind of on and off. Did a couple quick sketches here and there over the years, but I kind of got out of the habit of doing it regularly. So recently I was inspired to get back into it. So I've been drawing pretty regularly recently. That's weird. That goes in really far to this pen holder. I feel like it should have some kind of stop in there to keep it from going so far, but I'll try it in this one. That's better. Okay, so I'm not really going to draw anything right now. I just want to test and compare these inks that I have. So I have 3 brands that I use kind of regularly, or 2, I guess, and then this third one that I just bought that I'm hoping will be like a good replacement or good option for me to use. But these are the ones I normally... Hi, happy drawing. I'm lurking and coding. Oh, nice. Hey, MK. So these are the ones that I'm used to using, the De La Rowney FW Artist Acrylic Ink and the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay India ink. So I'm gonna kind of compare this new Platinum Carbon ink to those, just see how it goes. So I'll just kind of try to use them in kind of similar manners, and just let them dry and see how waterproof they are, and then also just how dark they are, I guess. I don't really have any like major scientific tests to do. I just kind of want to try it out. Draw a Rorschach pattern and tell us what you see. I actually do that kind of stuff a lot. Not technically one of those patterns, but a lot of my sketches are drawn from a random doodle like that. So actually kind of my thing, ironically. I do that all the time. Okay, so I'm going to start out with the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay India ink, just as a comparison. We'll save the best for last. Best meaning the newest. I don't know if it'll actually be the best, but and I'm not a calligrapher at all. I don't know how to do calligraphy. So I mean, I have decent handwriting in general, but I don't actually do calligraphy. So. And I'm writing on watercolor paper, which has a massive tooth to it. It's because it's cold pressed, so it's kind of hard to use these pens, to be honest. Okay, I'm just gonna doodle a little bit, and I want to see how these compare after they're dry, if they smear when you get them wet and stuff like that. That's kind of one of the important things for me, because I like to use watercolor pencils, and so if they bleed and run after you get them wet, then that's kind of a problem. It's not a problem, but it's just something I need to be aware of. No, I should compare it to these pens also. Yeah, so a lot of times when I'm sketching, I actually just make random doodles. It's hard to use these pens, honestly. I'm used to using like just pigment fine liners. I don't really do a lot of sketching with these kind of pens. I'll just start out with these like random doodles, and then I'll look for some kind of pattern in there, which I almost always see a face. I see several faces. I see like an old kind of granny here with a big nose and kind of mouth going inward that way, and either she's got a really long eyelash or something coming off, and then she has sort of like a rocker scar tattoo or face paint going across her eye. But yeah. Anyway, I'm not really trying to draw anything here. I just kind of want to get some lines on the paper to test out with water resistance. Hopefully this won't take too long. I mean, I do want to try out this new ink, but I don't want to like spend the entire live stream just doing this kind of stuff. I need to write what this is. It always Bob Ross it and draw a happy little tree? I could. Okay. Just need some messy stuff. I just need some stuff there. I'm also gonna put just a little bit of brushed on. I should get my palette though, just so I can add a little bit of water. It's always fun. I need a eyedropper. I can't remember if I have one. I used to have one in my case here, but I don't see it, so I'll have to find one at some point. I don't really have a good way to like get water out of this other than just getting a few drops out on the brush. Okay, so I want to add a little bit of water to the ink to water it down a bit. That way you can do like all sorts of gradients, and you can add darkness to it. Basically, you can use these inks like watercolor. What platforms you streaming besides Soulbound? Basically, if you can think of a platform, I'm probably on it. I'm on more platforms than I can even list. Let me list them really quick. I'll say it as quickly as I possibly can. I am on DLive, Kick, Beam, Twitch, Party, Noise, Xenon, Moonbeam, Nemo, Soulbound, Trovo, Pixel, Picardo, Soup, Odyssey, YouTube, BitChute, Rumble. And sometimes I'm on YouNow, but I can't do it lately because it's not working. But yep, pretty much everywhere. Alright, so there's the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay India ink sample, and let's do something similar with the FW ink. Dealer Rowney. Alright, let's just make some random squiggly marks like I did with the other one. Ace it is, yep. I actually kind of want to get more into using like the Crow Quill pen like what I have here, because you can do like super thin lines if you get good at it, but I don't know, this is like a really cheap basic one. I feel like I struggle with it. I think it would work better on hot press paper too, that's really smooth. Paper has like massive texture to it, and the point of the pen gets like stuck in the texture sometimes. Oh, whoops, let me just do a very quick blob of this paint on there, or ink, whatever. I'll need to go like clean this out too, and I need to get an eyedropper. I should have 2 jars of water too. One that's clean, and then one that I used to rinse with. Okay, so there's those 2. Oh, you actually asked me to use the new ink, so I'll do you 2 times then. I don't think this has a eyedropper, which is kind of disappointing, to be honest. Because it's really, like, how on earth am I going to get that out of there without an eyedropper? And it has a weird... I don't even know what that is. There's like a thing inside there. What is that? It's like a little... What? I have no idea what that is. I've never seen anything like that. I don't know what that is. I'll have to do some research. That's very strange. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen. Somewhere I have some eyedroppers. I don't know if I can find them. Actually, I think I have some really cheap, junky ones over here somewhere. I used to, anyway. Some kind of disposable ones. Don't see them at the moment. Might be on my desk somewhere in this mess. +1 follow. Oh, thanks, man. Man, woman, I don't know. Probably a man. Okay. Man in the generic sense. Okay. Ah, that's annoying. I have no idea where those... I guess I'll just have to dip straight into it. I don't know what else to do in this circumstance. So we'll just do it that way. It's not ideal, but it'll work. I'll have to get a special eyedropper that I use for this. It's kind of annoying that it doesn't come with one on the lid like most of the other inks do, but I guess they figure you're gonna dip into it like this, which is pretty standard. But I like having an eyedropper on the top. Love the interaction you have. Nice. I can't imagine not chatting with people that come into chat. I guess if you're a big streamer, sometimes you don't talk to everybody because there's just too much going on. But I've always had a really small channel, so it's never an issue. Sometimes I miss messages just because I'm not paying attention or I'm working on something, but try not to. Okay, I can tell this is pretty dark, but I can't, it's kind of hard. You probably can't even tell a difference on the camera because they all look probably kind of black, but I think it is darker than the other ones. Definitely looks quite black. I don't know, a lot of people just wouldn't even tell the difference because it's like black is black, you know? I don't even know if this is made primarily for writing or for drawing. I mean, you can use it for whatever you want, but I don't know what they designed it for. I'm just hoping that it's really relatively or completely waterproof. That would be nice. I have no idea what that weird thing is in there. It's like a very intricate shape that's complicated. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the purpose of it is. Look at that weirdness. It's like this huge plastic thing inside there. I don't have a clue what it is. Very weird. Sometimes I've had good luck using a very thin coffee straw dipped into the ink liquid being measured, and then what it's in the liquid cap exposed, and with your finger, and you can lift the liquid out and blow, and you lift your finger off the seal. So it stays in the straw basically, and you've probably done that before. No, I actually haven't. I mean, I have eyedroppers around it. My work area is just such a mess that I don't know where they are, but I like having precision too, because I don't actually like dipping my nibs in the ink, mainly because most of these bottles aren't really big enough to get, you know, this fat pen holder in there, so I end up like touching the sides of the bottle on the pen holder, and then it gets ink all over this, and then that gets on my fingers. So I prefer not to dip it. I prefer to you know, have eyedropper on the lid like this, because then I can just like put a little bit on the pen that way. I wish they made all the bottles like with really wide mouths though. This one actually does have a pretty wide mouth, which is an advantage, so I can actually dip into this one without getting the ink on the pen holder, so that is a definite bonus. I might actually end up just dipping into this one, which is not what I'm used to, but since it's so big, I think that would work just fine. Bad part about the straw dropper is the moment you lift your finger off the straw, all of it. Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, that's definitely a good poor man's like hack for sure. Like if you just don't have a eyedropper, that's a really good idea. But since I have eyedroppers, I use them when I can. I haven't actually been drawing or doing anything with ink for a long time. That's kind of why my art supplies aren't like arranged or where they expect them. Okay, this is complete just ugly drawings. I'm not really trying to make anything. I just want to test this out. And I have to give it adequate time to dry before I like use water to smear it around to see if it's water resistant. Otherwise it won't be a proper test. I'm just going to dip straight into this, which is not what I really want to do, but it's all I can do at this point. Wow, yeah, it's pretty highly pigmented because I dipped it in the ink and then I like swished it in the jar of water, and it's still quite dark. So you can tell that it's darker than the other inks. Like it's almost hard to get it to not be black. So yeah, it's definitely darker. That's good. Might try lifting some of that off of there. So it's really not as good as an eyedropper, but in the pinch it helped me sometimes. Yeah, it's a good idea. I'm kind of afraid to use this kind of medium sometimes, because if you're working on a really important piece, the ink isn't guaranteed to stay on here, and if you like grab like a texture in the paper or just like accidentally like flick the thing, a huge blob of ink can go on your drawing. It's really like a scary possibility. So I don't normally draw with ink for that reason, just because I'm kind of afraid that something like that might happen. But it is really good. It's a good way to go. It's just risky unless you really know what you're doing. Okay, so I'm gonna be right back. I'm gonna go just wash these little pools of ink off of my palette thingy here. I'll be right back. Okay. So I have like a small catalog, I don't know what to call it. I have a small set of images that I've been pulling from for drawing materials, so I'm just gonna pull from that, see what the next thing is. I mentioned this on a recent stream, but I've been watching Naruto, the anime series again. I never actually finished it. I'm not very good at watching long series like that. I don't watch TV or series or shows, so I have a hard time getting through stuff. But some years ago, quite a few years ago, I tried to watch that, never finished, and so I'm starting again. I'm only on episode 3. I'm going really slow because I've been pulling inspirational screenshots out of those to try to use those as my drawing inspiration. So that's probably what I'll work on today for a sketch. I have other things I could sketch, but they're actually like photos on my phone, and my phone I'm using to live stream, so I can't really look at them. Let's see, where are they? Have to find the next one. Oh, I should modify the script. I mentioned earlier that I had AI write a script. It's basically just a slideshow, and that's what you're seeing on the BRB screen. It's literally just a web script that has like Ken Burns animation on stuff. And I need to modify it so I can filter it down to specific images with keyword. Nice Gundams are like that for me. I like the Unicorn Gundam. Nice. I'm actually not into anime at all. Like, I've heard that name and stuff, but I've never like watched anime. I have a good friend that's really into anime, and from what I remember, it was quite a few years ago, but I think that they're the reason I watched that show, is just to kind of connect with them, or just try watching an anime and see if I like it or whatever, which I did like it, but I just kind of got bored because I don't really like watching shows that much, but I do like it. I also liked the Avatar Last Airbender series. I know it's not technically anime because it's like made here in the US or whatever, or at least it's designed by Americans, I think, and maybe animated in Korea or whatever, but anyway, so whether that counts or not, I really enjoyed that series though. I did actually watch that whole series, which is impressive for me because I don't really watch shows. Okay, let's see. What do we have next? I think, so I took a bunch of screenshots from episode 2, and I think I might have drawn all the ones that I want to draw. Let me see. I'll confirm that, because there might be some left. And I don't want to get too hung up on drawing every single frame from like every episode, but I was kind of like snapshotting a bunch of images from each episode and, you know, drawing like a lot of them. This is more just practice too. Like I'm not really that good of an artist. I can't like think of my own stuff to draw. I'm not very creative, so I tend to like draw things that I see because I just can't think of what to draw most of the time. So that's kind of what I'm doing. I either draw things that I see in real life, or lately I've been doing the Naruto images, but eventually I'll adapt that slideshow script so I can show just those images, but I don't have a way to narrow it down right now, which is kind of annoying. Let's see. I guess I still have some from the second episode, so I might just keep drawing those, even though it's basically keeping me from watching the latest or the next episode, because I want to like not start drawing images from an episode that I haven't watched yet. So I've been like just taking it really slow, like watching one episode like in 2 weeks or something. So it'll take me like 500 years to get through the whole series, I suppose. Okay, having a hard time figuring out how to do this. Kind of want to show the reference image on the screen, but I don't want it to be covering too much, so let me see. Used to have a layer for this, but I guess I got rid of it. I'll just add another one. Window capture. Oh wow, that's buggy. So I'm on Linux, and I guess you can't do alt drag on the sides of sources like you can on Windows. So I have to like add a crop filter, which is weird. I've never had to do that before, but it is what it is. Okay. Let's just throw that up there. This is what I'm going to be drawing, I think. So I do this in a weird way. Like if I wanted it to actually be a good drawing, I would start out in pencil so that I can erase and like adjust the proportions of things. But I've actually decided that I kind of like the challenge of not having that crutch to fall back on, I guess. Mainly because it helps me like draw faster, I guess, if I can't erase anything, but it also challenges me to, you know, just get better at drawing without making mistakes, I guess. So I start out with these pens. I've been using the various brands of pigment fine liners, so that's what I will be using today. Doesn't really matter what brand, it's more about just how thin it is. I like to start out with like super thin pens. I almost always make some major mistakes on getting the proportions right because it's hard. It's unless you're just an expert artist, which I'm not. Getting all the angles and proportions of everything right is super difficult, especially if you're not erasing. Like, I'm not using a pencil, so I have to get it just right the first time. So I try to just look at like the comparative size, like the width of this weird yellow thing is like, it's like twice as wide on this part until that weird cord going up across there goes. So somewhere around there, I guess. It doesn't have to be perfect though. I'm not like measuring anything, I'm just kind of eyeballing it. And then let's see what's next. There's and then same over here. It's like 1.5 times as wide as that till the next cord going up that way, approximately. Close enough. And this cuts not quite in half, right about there, something like that. And it's about as tall as that thing, a little bit less overall, I guess. And then this comes up about 1/3 into that. I just try to make note of those. Like, I still get things wrong, even when I try to sort of get the proportions, it just ends up being wrong anyway. I've come to the point where I don't really care. As long as it looks interesting, I don't really care how accurate it is. I'm not that much of a perfectionist these days. Okay, so this is coming down that way. And probably just do one sketch today because I tend to go really slow when I'm doing these, trying to sketch out these scenes from the anime because I want it to turn out to resemble it somewhat. When I'm doing my own random drawings, there's no like basis for comparison, so I go a lot faster than typically. So these take a long time. If they take too long, I'll just do one sketch on this stream. I don't know if I'll even use the black ink today. I feel like I need a little bit more time to get mentally prepared, as funny as that sounds, just because it's going to be such a shift in technique that I use. I just haven't really used dip ink for drawing that much. I use it a lot more for writing than I use it for drawing. So I'm pretty comfortable using the pen holders and nibs for writing, but it's just drawing is like a whole nother thing. But I need to, like, if I'm going to do it, I need to just like jump into it at some point, but I don't think today is going to be that time. I don't even know what some of the stuff is that I'm drawing. Like, sometimes I wonder if the artists themselves even knew what it was. Like, they had some kind of design in mind when they drew it, but like sometimes I wonder if they just make up weird shapes like I do. That's just what I do a lot, so I think they're a lot more intentional than I am. Hey, Balthier. Hope I am good. I am doing well, thank you. Hopefully you're good too. I'm just sketching today, nothing fancy. You notice on these, I guess, I don't know what they're called, slats, I guess, in the roof, they're not consistent in the original drawing, so I kind of have the freedom to make mine just as irregular as theirs. What am I making? So I'm drawing that little thing you see up on the top left, just a scene from Naruto, the animated cartoon series, Japanese. So just using it as inspiration because I'm not really that good of an artist, and I don't usually know what to draw. So I either draw stuff that I see around me in real life, or I find something like that, like the show that I'm using as inspiration. I'm also watching that show, but very slowly, like one episode like at a time for weeks at a time, and I'm drawing like several drawings from each episode, so I don't go to the next episode until I've drawn every scene that I want to draw. That's a very slow watch through, and I'll probably never make it through. I'll probably give up on it, but it's just something to do. Okay, so I got one in the middle here. I'm not gonna worry about getting the same number of these things that are on the roof. I'll just space them approximately the same spacing, but I'm not going to count them or anything. That's usually what I do. I don't usually try to count everything to get it exactly the same. I actually don't know what these things are, like these weird things that look like pipes. No idea what purpose they serve. when things start not lining up, I can tell that, you know, I've got the proportions wrong. But like this thing, I don't know what this is, but this weird thing on the top is too big. I made it too big, and it's not quite the right angle. But if you don't have the reference image to compare it to, it's kind of impossible to know. I also feel like there's possibly some kind of mistakes, like this weird pipe thing that I'm about to draw. It like kind of fades into nothing and almost looks like they didn't complete drawing it, which gives me some encouragement to have a little bit of freedom to not worry about how well I draw it, because they kind of didn't draw it that detailed or perfectly either. And there's usually mistakes like that in most human drawn things. I mean, sometimes people like spend a massive amount of time and get rid of all the errors and whatever, but inconsistencies. But it's pretty often common to find well, errors and things. Okay, once I get most of the shapes down, I'll start coloring in some of the stuff just to keep it going. Probably finish this drawing. I feel like drawing all those detailed shapes is what takes the longest, and then coloring it really doesn't take that long. I mean, it takes a while, but this, for me, the hardest part is definitely the trying to recreate all the shapes somewhat accurately. I think the more I do this, the better I get at it. When I first started drawing again after not drawing for so long, some of my first drawings were just really bad. It's been getting better and better, but you can see the proportions are way off, but it doesn't really matter. Like, I don't think, but you can see like the length of this compared to, or the width of this compared to the length. This is more of a square, whereas in the original it's like a more elongated rectangle. So somewhere, I don't know where, but I got the proportions off, but I don't think it matters, to be honest. I just overlook that stuff because ultimately if it looks cool, it doesn't matter if it looks the same, in my opinion. Alright, so that's pretty much all the stuff I need to draw. I don't even know what this mess here is, but... Okay, so now I just have to color it in. Oh, actually, I messed these things up at the top, I guess. They're spaced out almost twice as far as the other ones, so... Good enough. Okay, so I don't actually match the colors perfectly either. I pretty much just use the colors that I have and get it kind of close, but I don't go for perfection because it takes too long to like try to mix the colors. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could get it close, but I actually enjoy just using the colors that I have and getting it relatively close and not worrying about perfection. Once again, I have no clue what these things are on the roof. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna go, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go rinse out my water. I should have two. Might grab a second one with clean water and one to rinse in. I don't normally need to do that, but since I got that so dark with the black ink, I don't want it to contaminate my colors, so I'll be right back. Okay. So once again, color matching is not super important. I'll do the best I can, but they're not going to turn out the same. I have a hard time getting these like really light yellows. What I could do is actually mix it on a palette and dilute it down so it's lighter, but I don't know. I don't really care. Let's get it generally the same color. It's close enough. Let's see. I actually need more light. So what I like to do is just kind of paint by number. I mentioned this before. I just generally get the same, more or less, color, but not like perfect. And yeah, I just fill in the shade or the shapes with pretty much the whole solid color thing. I don't really try to add like a bunch of nuance to the shading that much. I add a little bit later on the final pass, but generally I don't really care about making it exactly. So I just try to get the general colors, close, and then add some very generic sloppy shading. I go for a more like impressionistic quick sketch because mainly because it just takes too long to try to replicate the drawing exactly. I don't it's not that I don't have the patience to do that. I could do that, but it doesn't really interest me that much. I just want to get more practice getting more drawings in, so I'd rather do quick sketches than like perfect masterpieces, because if I was a perfectionist about it, I would do very few drawings because I would spend so much time on each one. I'd rather do a bunch of quick drawings because you learn quite a bit from each sketch that you do, and you just get better and better, improve, more confident. And so that's kind of my goal, is just to keep drawing more often. Plus it's more encouraging, like it's a psychological game too, like it's encouraging to see like a bunch of drawings rather than just one really good drawing. I'd rather have a ton of drawings that I've done, and maybe they're not all perfect, but it's just fun to like do a bunch of them. Okay, that's the general color of those things. This color, I don't have that exact shade, but I'll use the magenta for that. I have a pink, but I don't really feel like pulling it out. I think this will be close enough. Unless you're looking at the reference drawing, it doesn't really need to be exact. Let's see. Here's the pink that I have. I guess I'll pull that out. As the ground has some weird pink on it, just throw that in there. And it's got some yellow stuff. Interesting that these, whatever these ropes or cords are that going across, they're all different colors. Like this one I'm drawing right now is kind of a green color, and then the one on the top is orange. The one on the left is kind of a pink. Makes you wonder if that's like meaningful or intentional, or it's just kind of random. An awesome song, by the way. What is this? It is Power Drive? I don't even know what that is. I think that's the name of the game, I guess. One of my favorite colors that I've been using in all of these paintings is Payne's Gray. It's really coming in handy for a lot of different scenarios. A lot of the shadow areas look really nice with that color. Okay, so there's some kind of pink weird thing down here. I have no idea what that is. Alright, let's see, did I miss anything? Oh, that thing on the top, I don't really know what color to use on there. It's just kind of a weird color. Be nice to have more desk space so I can lay out all my pencils in a sensible manner. Kind of a mess right now. Okay, good enough. Let's see. Oh, need more Payne's Gray on that top thing, whatever this is. Okay. I think I missed a little spot right here. Okay, so that's the basic coloring, and then I will add some other stuff as I go. Might not need to like thoroughly wash this brush. I forgot I had all that black ink in there. So since I'm going over this with water, that's why I want my pen to be like as waterproof as possible. That's kind of why I test those inks. I still need to go back and see how those perform up there, but generally I'm looking for inks that don't smear when they get wet. So I can do my outlining with the black ink and not worry about it smearing. no rhyme or reason to which jar of water I'm using for what. I thought I would maybe need a clean one and a dirty one, but when I'm working with these watercolor pencils, they really don't leave behind hardly anything on the brush, so when I clean it out, it's not really going to get the jar of water dirty at all. Can't even tell that it's not perfectly clean for the most part. As you can see, the paint by number, just kind of filling in each shape with a consistent color, actually works fairly well. You could just stop there and I think it would be fine. But I usually go a little bit further by adding a little bit more shadows in key areas, but I don't like go crazy with it. I don't try to replicate all the detail that I see in the original. I just kind of go with the really basic add shadows in like really obvious spots, but not like everywhere. Like each of these pipes and things has its own shadow, but I probably won't bother to paint in all of those details, just some of the major ones. I'm gonna let that dry before I do more layers on there because I don't want to like disturb what's already there. So I'll let it dry for a little bit, and then while I'm waiting for that, I'm gonna test these out, see how they compare. So try to be somewhat consistent. This isn't a scientific test or anything, but basically I just get some water on the brush and just kind of maybe do 3 or 4 passes on each area to see how much they smear. I already know that the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay India ink is really good. I don't think it'll smear much at all. The Daler Rowney one actually smeared a little bit in my previous test, but I think it's because I didn't give it long enough to dry. Because it is an acrylic ink, so I don't think it will smear much. For the test of the carbon black. Actually, the carbon black is spreading a little bit more than the others. I think it's just because there's so much pigment in it. It's very strong pigment, so it actually does spread or bleed just a tiny bit. But I don't think that would be a problem, really. The cool thing about the carbon black is it's so highly pigmented that it'll be very light, fast, and last forever, basically. But I think the other two are relatively that same way, and they're not going to, like, fade out easily. In theory, the carbon black should fade out even less in the sun and stuff, but actually not quite as waterproof, and I think a lot of that depends on the paper that you're using as well, so that will vary. But yeah, and it does smear a little bit more than the other two. Okay. Yeah, this still needs a little bit longer to dry. I guess I can, I guess it doesn't necessarily need to dry more. I think it's fine. Let's see. So this is Payne's Gray. I'm just going to use this for my shadow color. It doesn't really matter what it's going over the top of. I'll just use it generally the same. Generally, it just kind of goes well with all the colors, more or less. It just makes them darker. It adds a little bit of blue to it, but not so much that it's, like, annoying. I think it actually looks kind of nice. So I like using it for my overall shadow color for everything. Usually works good. So I just have a slightly wet brush. It's a little bit damp, and I'm just touching the end of the pencil to get a little bit of pigment off there. It's a good way to kind of control how much you put down rather than, like, using the pencil itself on the paper. So it does make everything a little bit blue, and I could use, like, I could mix paint really, spend a lot of time and effort getting the colors right to match everything, but it's just faster and easier to use the Payne's Gray on all stuff that I want darker, and then it's sort of a consistent hue all the way across. But yeah, if I wanted to match the original, like, more accurately, I would mix colors that are closer to the hues that I'm darkening, but it's too much work. I like doing it this way just because it's easier, faster, and it still looks cool. There's some exceptions, like on this yellow stuff down here. I'm not going to use the Payne's Gray because I don't want it to, like, make kind of a muddy green, and also that's very warm in the original, so I'll at least try to kind of simulate that a little bit. But everything else, it works okay. Okay, and then let's see, I need to do this color over here. Like I'll use kind of a brown. Actually, yeah, this one should maybe work. Okay, let's see, did I miss anything? I don't think so. So if I'm being perfectly honest, even though this is probably the blackest ink, it's not as water resistant, so I'm not as inclined to use it for this purpose. What I could use it for, though, for sure, is if I really wanted dark outlines, I could use that as the final outlining stage. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to actually transition to use like the dip pens for drawing so much. It's hard to say. If I did, I would probably use the Dr. P.H. Martin's Bombay India ink. It just seems like the most reliable as far as not smearing and stuff. I have to wait for this to pretty much completely dry before I go back for my outlining stage here, so I just kind of kill time for a little while. I actually have a heat gun that I should probably get out for this kind of stuff just to save a little bit of time waiting. But I don't really feel like going to get it. I think I'm probably good now. Let's see, so I'm going to use a slightly thicker pen. Just a 0.1 millimeter, I think. Even though the original doesn't have these harsh dark outlines on it, I just kind of like the look of it, having it. So it's kind of a more of a comic book style. It just separates the objects from the background a little bit better. All right, let's check. I don't think I missed anything major, but it's probably basically done. All right, I think I got most everything. I could add more like shading and stuff, but I'm usually pretty satisfied with just getting the general overall impression of a scene, not necessarily all the exact details. All right, I'd call that done. So let me sign it, and then I'll probably end the stream just so I don't like go forever. It's always surprising to me how long these little drawings take, like especially the like drawing all the shapes part, that takes the longest. Let's see, this is number 156. I mean, I'm kind of cheating sometimes, but I don't really care. It doesn't matter. I've drawn 156 sketches since I restarted my hobby of drawing and stuff. But like, I count these as sketches too, so those, like, that's why I say it's sort of cheating in a way, just because I pad the numbers in that sense. But they are illustrations, so I'm basically counting how many illustrations that I do, not necessarily like full-on drawings. Or tests or whatever, you know. So I'm still not into episode 3. This is from Naruto episode 2. All right, let's see if I can show it. So that's my finished drawing. You can see the reference up there on the top left. And there's my interpretation of it. So yeah, I think I will end the stream, head out for tonight. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully inspired someone out there to try to draw. You can see it's not really that hard, and you don't have to like get everything right. You know, you just give your interpretation of things, and it doesn't have to look the same. Just draw stuff, you know, or draw stuff from your. If you have a more imagination than I do, you can draw stuff from your imagination. But I generally just find things out in nature or around me to draw. Or in this case, I'm drawing from a cartoon. But anyway, I will see you all later.